I'm definitely honored to be in that situation and a position to share the ring with another great. You know, it's going to be a hell of a night come September 13th.
Ryan Garcia has stirred the pot with a bold prediction for the upcoming showdown between Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford.
Do you give Terence Crawford any chance to beat Canelo?
I don't see it happening, but he could definitely prove me wrong. But I just think, bro, like, I mean, I've trained with Canelo, I've been around him. Bro can really push back heavyweight. So I don't know how he's, like, because this is the first time Canelo's actually bigger than somebody in a long time.
According to Garcia, while the fight promises to be thrilling, he believes Crawford could end up knocked out, much like Amir Khan was in their infamous 2016 encounter. This statement has grabbed the attention of fans and experts alike, as the boxing world eagerly anticipates the September 13th clash at Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas, where all 4 super middleweight titles will be on the line.
So I'm actually interested to see, bro. I can't wait for the fight. I'm definitely going to be backing Canelo, but, you know, Crawford is a great fighter, and he could surprise me. But right now, where I would put my money is Canelo Alvarez. But like I said, when you have 2 great fighters, great things can happen. But I could see even Crawford getting knocked out like Amir Khan style, though.
Yes, bro.
I low-key could see that. I low-key could see that. I think Crawford's also going to try to implement, like, kind of what Floyd did, kind of stand your ground a little bit, trying to catch up. But he doesn't have the same defense as Floyd. That's the thing. But I do see him trying to take that approach where he tries to, like, stand his ground, kind of hold his ground.
The fight itself is a spectacle in the making, not just for the stakes involved, but also because of the intriguing weight difference between the 2 fighters. Crawford, a master of his craft, is making a significant leap up the weight divisions to challenge Canelo at 168 pounds, a weight he hasn't previously competed at. This raises immediate questions about how the smaller Crawford will handle the raw power and physicality of Canelo, who has reigned supreme in the super middleweight division for years.
Maybe he's a little overrated.
Terence Crawford versus Canelo Alvarez at 168 pounds.
Canelo's really good. Really good. But I think Crawford is special. I know he hasn't fought the resume everyone wants, but you have that or you don't have that ingredient. And I think he has it. Canelo's really good. He's tremendous. But could he be a tiny bit overrated? The greatness is within Crawford. It's in his desire. It's in his mind. It's in his makeup, where he came from. I know he's moving up in weight class, can he carry it? You know, but those intangibles.
Garcia, who has spent considerable time training alongside Canelo, wasted no time in offering his take on the matter. His perspective is shaped by his first-hand experience with Canelo's formidable physicality. He remarked that Canelo's ability to push back even heavyweights speaks volumes about the Mexican's dominance and strength in the ring. For Garcia, this is a major advantage in the fight, especially since Canelo hasn't faced a fighter like Crawford in quite some time. As Garcia points out, Canelo is used to fighting opponents who are often lighter than him, but in this case, he believes Canelo will have the edge in terms of size, which will allow him to fight even more freely.
You think Terence Crawford could fight the likes of Sergey Kovalev, the likes of what's his name? Even Bivol?
No,
you think he
no,
would even step up and ring with him? No,
I think those are perfect. So there's, I mean, obviously with Bivol and with the Mexican monster, right? There's a height advantage there that also with the power. Whereas with Crawford and him, like, they're similar in stature. Obviously, there's the power aspect to it, but I mean, I think that's like the perfect matchup for him at 168. You know, once he's done there, just stop. You know what I mean? Go back down to 154 or whatever, or just cash out and call it a career. But I think it's a perfect matchup for him. That's why he's taking it.
So you think that his matchup, his style is perfect for Canelo?
Yeah.
Like, matching up wise. Yeah, I mean, I could see where you're coming from. But I just don't know how he's going to be able to consistently be beating Canelo throughout the rounds. I mean, unless like Patriot said, like, use his legs, try to outpoint him, but
he could do that.
He's not gonna be able to step up to Canelo. Nah, I don't see it happening.
Mike Tyson, the legendary heavyweight, has also weighed in on the fight. Tyson has been vocal about his doubts regarding Crawford's decision to take on Canelo. He doesn't believe the matchup is a good idea, highlighting that Crawford is venturing into unfamiliar territory by stepping up in weight to face a fighter who is not only much larger, but also carries tremendous knockout power. Tyson's warning stems from his belief that Crawford's usual advantages may be nullified against someone of Canelo's caliber, making the fight a dangerous proposition for the unbeaten Crawford.
What do you think?
Yeah, he can do what he wants, but I don't think that's a good idea.
Why?
I just don't think it's a good idea. You know, I don't think, what would he have? I don't know. I just don't think it's a good idea. People have done things crazy like that before. It's just that he doesn't have to do it. He doesn't have to do it.
Even though Tyson and others have raised concerns, there are still those who back Crawford to defy the odds. Amir Khan, who has faced both Canelo and Crawford in the past, is one of the few to publicly express confidence in Crawford's ability to overcome Canelo. Khan has praised Crawford's versatility and skill set, suggesting that the Nebraska native's boxing IQ could give him the edge in this battle.
I fought them both. Like, what are the differences between them?
Canelo's strong and he's easily hit. Very easily hit, very easily. Compared to when I fought against Crawford, I couldn't hit clean. They both hit hard because, and you could see the strength when I was fighting against Crawford. He is very strong as well. So look, yeah, but why does he need to give that much away? He's pound for pound #1 in the world. Why does he have to go for fighting Canelo?
As the fight draws closer, analysts are continuing to break down the potential game plans for both fighters. One veteran observer, Stephen A. Smith, has joined the ranks of those picking Crawford to defeat Canelo. Smith believes that Crawford's footwork and ability to move around the ring will be crucial in securing a win. He contends that Canelo's style, focused largely on power punches, could leave him vulnerable against a fighter like Crawford, who thrives in more technical, strategic matchups. Smith pointed out that Crawford's ability to box on the move and avoid the heavy shots from Canelo could be the key to an upset.
You got a love for boxing.
Yes, love boxing.
Who gonna win the fight, man? That's coming up. The biggest
Crawford.
fighter in boxing.
Crawford.
Huh?
Crawford. I'm not hesitating. Crawford. I'm not even hesitating. Crawford.
You gonna stand on that all the way to September 13th?
I love Canelo. Crawford will beat Canelo. Crawford will beat Canelo by decision. I can't see anybody knocking out Canelo Alvarez. But I do believe that if you can box and you can move, that you can beat Canelo. You can outpoint him.
That's right.
When I think about Canelo, one of the things that I don't like about Canelo, despite his greatness, and a neck as wide as Broadway for crying out loud.
Right.
It's like almost every shot has to be a power shot.
It's a power shot, yeah.
That's not beating Crawford. I will confess, I think Gervonta Davis's trainer, Cal, I think he said this. He said Crawford could find himself in trouble if he decides to engage with Canelo, because Canelo is the naturally bigger, stronger fighter. And I don't care that Crawford's gotten bigger, and I don't care that Crawford's gonna go in there just as big as Canelo. Canelo is accustomed to fighting at the weight, and Crawford is not. And Canelo is a genius in this regard. You don't see him show up for fights not ready. He's always
prepared.
He's always ready. He's always prepared. So I think he's the slower fighter, though. And I think that Crawford is brilliant as a boxer. And I think that between switching to conventional and southpaw, using his jab and movement, I think that Crawford is going to outpoint Canelo because he's faster. But I don't think he's gonna knock him.
One of the most intriguing elements of the fight will be the experience factor. Kelly Pavlik, a former unified world champion, has shared his thoughts on the bout, drawing attention to the differences in the fighters' experience levels against larger opponents. Pavlik noted that while Canelo has faced a range of opponents moving down from heavier divisions, Crawford has not had that experience. This, he believes, could be a deciding factor in the fight. However, he stopped short of picking a clear winner, acknowledging Crawford's exceptional skills, but leaning towards Canelo's greater experience at the weight class.
Betting fights or making picks, and I'm usually pretty good on all my picks, even when I had the podcast, but sometimes because people look for that fighter, that former world champion, and they like want to pick them apart if they get it wrong. This is one of the fights where I want to sit back and watch and not worry about my pick. Canelo is a small middleweight, super middleweight. He just is. But he's also showed that he could go up in weight class, and he's a great fighter. I mean, that's it. Crawford is so talented. He's got so much ability in boxing, his boxing ability. And he's a bigger guy too. He's almost every bit as big as Canelo, right? So that's what makes it tough. Like, yeah, Canelo's used to fighting guys coming down from 200 probably, you know, at light heavyweight, and Crawford ain't. But it's just too hard to pick on that because of Crawford's ability and boxing skills. I'm not going off of Canelo's last fight. You know, the guy he was fighting was in survival mode pretty much. He was just fighting not to get knocked out. When you fight a guy like that, you're not going to look good, right? I don't care what anybody says. When you're fighting a guy that's running around trying to survive, it makes it hard. So I don't go off of that, but this fight is going to be interesting. I mean, I would almost have to kind of lean with Canelo, but I'm not making that pick.
In terms of strategy, Pavlik had some advice for Crawford. He suggested that the best approach would be to use his hand speed and boxing IQ, mixing up his stance and not staying in one position for too long.
Stay in Canelo's a little early on, put Canelo behind, right? Even if it's 3 out of the first 4 rounds, because when Canelo has to fight, okay, when Canelo has to step it up, after 7 rounds, he starts to fade a little bit. We've seen that with Bivol. We've seen it in a lot of his fights with Triple G. You know, when Canelo could control the fight and the ring generalship, like, yeah, he could fight 12 rounds pretty good. But when Canelo gets pushed early on in the fight, he starts to fade muscle endurance wise. So if I was Crawford, I would kind of stay in his ass a little bit on you know, the early rounds and make him have to play catch up in rounds 3, 4, 5, and then by round 7, that's where, you know, he could really step it up.
Tim Bradley is firmly in Crawford's corner. He doesn't mince words when it comes to his prediction for the fight, dismissing concerns about Canelo's recent performances. Bradley feels that Crawford's superior boxing skills will be too much for Canelo to handle, especially after analyzing Canelo's more lackluster performances in recent years. He pointed out that Canelo's last few outings hadn't exactly impressed him, and he believes that Crawford will dominate from start to finish, even if Canelo tries to turn the fight into a slugfest.
One more thing. It don't matter if Canelo is on that. He ain't beat no Terence Crawford. You heard it here first. Plus, I look at the performances of Canelo. I look at his last performances. I mean, they've been all right, you know. It ain't been like, you know, wow, you know, blew me away. So I'm not really worried about all of that. And the same thing goes with Crawford. I know he's with Snack, and I know some news came out this week and all of that, but I personally believe that Snack is clean. I think it's a conflict of interest, the fact that, hey, he knows how to beat the system, quote unquote, Victor Conte, but at the same time, I think Snack, you got products going around the world, this and that. I mean, all these athletes are testing. They're not testing anything or positive by using Snack at all. So I think they're safe. There's no doubt about it. So with that being said, I'm not worried about that. As long as they're testing, I'm good.
There's no denying that Canelo's recent victories have been far from flawless. While he's managed to win 6 straight fights by decision since his loss to Bivol, none of those victories have been as emphatic as fans might expect from a fighter of his caliber. His performance against William Skull in May was seen as a lackluster display, which has led many to question whether Canelo is starting to show signs of aging, or simply isn't the same fighter who ruled the division for so long. For some, these doubts are enough to suggest that Crawford's superior skills could carry the day.
A lot of people criticised his performance against William Skull. Did you take more confidence from that fight?
A lot of people criticized my last performance, so, you know what I mean? We both need to step it up, I guess.
Last one from me, Terence. Obviously, we've seen Turkey Al Sheikh mention no Tom and Jerry fights. You've said yourself you're going to put it on him, you're going to come for him. Do we see an explosive Terence Crawford that people won't have been expecting to see?
That's why you got to watch the fight so you can see.
I'll get a message to Canelo.
See you soon.
However, heavyweight legend Shannon Briggs has a different perspective. Despite the physical mismatch, Briggs believes that Crawford has what it takes to stop Canelo. He points to Crawford's ability to box from both stances and his ability to outthink and outmaneuver his opponents. Briggs, who has known Crawford since he was a young boy, believes that Crawford's technical brilliance will shine through, and he predicts that the fight will end in a stoppage in favor of the undefeated star.
Be a great fight. I got Crawford by stoppage, and I've known him since he was a little kid, you know, 12 years old. So to see him now fighting for a title in such a big fight, it's a great experience, great to see.
Last question for me then. How do you think Crawford stops him? How do you think he's able to work Canelo enough for him to stop the fight, drop, knock him down? How do you think this is possible by Crawford style?
He gonna box him. He can fight both ways. He gonna trick him up. You know, one thing Canelo showed is that he can be outboxed. But I think this time in the late rounds, you know, I think Crawford gonna have something for him.
Shannon, always good to see you, my friend.
You're the best, champ. Let's go.
The upcoming bout is being billed as the fight of the century, pitting two of boxing's greatest talents against each other in what promises to be a thrilling and historic contest. Canelo, the 4-division world champion, is aiming to further cement his legacy with a win over Crawford. Meanwhile, Crawford, who has already achieved the rare feat of becoming undisputed in 2 different weight classes, is aiming to do the same at 168 pounds, a feat that would set him apart from the rest of the pack and solidify his place in the annals of boxing history. As both fighters prepare for what could be a career-defining moment, the debate over who will come out on top continues to rage. Will Crawford's skill set be enough to overcome Canelo's size and power, or will the Mexican superstar prove that his reign at 168 pounds is far from over? The answer to that question will only be revealed on September 13th when these two titans finally meet in the ring. Until then, the boxing world will continue to speculate and anticipate one of the most eagerly awaited fights in recent history.